Hi, my name's Chemist. I'm from Jurassic 5.
Hello, I'm Newmark. I'm from Jurassic 5.
Well, yeah, we DJ together, you know, kind of at the same time, interacting with each other for a show, for when we perform, and I think when we make the record, it's kind of the same thing, you know, when we interact, and you know, he'll do a beat, or I'll do a beat, and then we'll kind of come in and produce it as a song together, maybe. You know, a lot of people ask, well, do the MCs write the song first and then you make the beat, or do you guys make the beat first? It happens both ways.
You know, a lot of times, Cut will make a beat and I'll help him mix it, or we help each other mix something,
You know, you need a lot of field practice with DJing. You know, you can get rusty real fast, and a lot of you guys know what I'm talking about out there. So, you know, it's hard just to maintain the balance, you know, but I think, you know, we're doing all right with it, because we try to incorporate in our live show, you know, DJing, up to date, you know, kind of style, so we're constantly having to go back and rework our angles. Plug.
Basically, it's a group founded out of Los Angeles, that's where we're from. We've been together about 5.5 years or so. Most of the group met at the Good Life, and then I met up with everybody else at a place called Rat Race, which was a live function that incorporated a live band with hip-hop artists, kind of a small, intimate vibe, no more than 200 people capacity type place.
Whenever we see different groups, it's all good, you know, it's just like, hey, what's up, you know, we can build. I mean, LA is pretty big, but at the same time, the scene is pretty small, you know, so and everybody realizes, especially in LA, you have to stick together, because it can be pretty ruthless, especially the industry side of things. I mean, I think the underground movement is realizing, hey, it's us, and then there's them, you know, the corporate world. Obviously, Jurassic 5 is you know, family, and it's more like a home base. So we kind of know what to do. There's a certain recipe that we've maintained through making our music, so it's a little easier to just dial in the elements and create the music. Whereas when you're working with other people, you don't know what their elements are that make up their style as much, because you're not around them as much, so you're just kind of taking blind shots in the dark and hoping they like it. You know, sometimes they can, sometimes they can't, sometimes you get lucky and it's boom, boom, you know, you guys are on the same wavelength and it works. You know, I think that's the way it was when I did the Blacklicious remix for A to G.
As far as production stuff, Cut and I have a group called Less Than Six, which is like, you know, we attribute to a lot of old school soul and stuff like that, but it's mainly an instrumental project that we still have yet to start. But
Swing Set kind of kickstarts it. You know?
Yeah, so there's a song called Swing Set that's is a possible candidate for the J5 album, and that's kind of along the lines of what we're going to be doing. It's instrumental stuff, you know, quick change ups, a lot of progression through the cuts, you know, repetitiveness, but not like, you know, hip hop loops, you know, for 4 minutes, like builds, bridges, that kind of stuff.
I was a big fan of lessons 1, 2, and 3, and so I did lesson 4 on the first J5 EP, which is Unified Revolution, Newmark's bonus beat, lesson 4, and we put it out ourselves. We printed up like 500 copies, and then of course Unified Revolution got picked up by Blind, but and lesson 4 ended up on the Bomb, Return of the DJ album, and you know, it was just my way of saying, these are my influences, you know, it was my first track that to ever come out on record, so I felt it was necessary to say who I was and, you know, how I grew up. And then lesson 6, of course, was, you know, just the future, or like some kind of utopian society for hip hop. You know, where all different styles of music can coexist and all that. And lesson 5 is yet to be complete. I'm trying to figure out where I want to take that one. I think a lot of people attach a lot of narration and stuff to my style of making music as well. But I mean, I wouldn't say that because it really worked for Lesson 6, but I'm not really gonna go out and put a whole bunch of narration on all my records. So when I remember this one time I did a remix, and the guy was like, "Well, it just doesn't have that Chemist sound yet." I was like, "Well, what are you talking about?" All the cool little talking records and stuff. I was just like, okay, and I went back and I put a little bit in there. He was like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I was like, oh man.
Well, for DJs, I mean, start by getting your own stuff. I mean, a lot of DJs ask, like, how do you cut? They're like, for up and coming, DJs, just get your own, set. Don't go over anybody's house and try to learn. I mean, you can do that if you don't have the money and all that. That's cool, but the best way to learn is to actually just sit down and just have a pair of turntables in front of you and go at it. As far as finding records and digging, just do the best you can for the times. Pretty much what Gus said. I mean, the computer's gonna be your friend as far as finding anything rare. And then the other thing is you got to be. It's gonna take a lot of money because obviously the prices of records are actually ridiculous right now. But if you really think about it, it's really not all that ridiculous because how far into the game we are. And how knowledgeable each DJ and each producer are at this point, so everybody knows where the beats are at. So pack a hefty wallet.
Record digging these days, eBay. It's no more of this, a lot of this. So it's not this, but it's this. So I don't know. Just keep your mind open to all types of music, and don't discriminate against anybody or anything. I think it's all hip hop, and it all works some way or another. And so that's pretty much it.